Alright, sup guys, DCK here, hitting you up with another video. Hitting you, BAM! Wait a minute, BAM! Another video. I might actually work that into my opening routine from now on. Vote below in the comment section. Should this, BAM! Hitting you up with another video be a part of my opening routine? You can vote either yes or fuck yes. Those are the two acceptable answers. Mr. Narrator made a very, very awesome idea of a video where it's what can cause the next wrestling boom. And AJ Orton did a response. AJ Orton, 34, cool kid. I don't want to say kid because I don't think I'm that much older than him. So he's a cool guy. Hopefully I remember to put all the links in the description box. I'll put a link, hopefully, if I remember, to AJ Orton 34, Mr. Narrator, and Mr. Narrator's video on this very topic. Which, if you guys want to respond, go respond to his vid. Because, you know, he came up with the fucking awesome idea. So, what's going to cause the next wrestling boom? On one side, you have Mr. Narrator saying that, sorry, distracted TV in the background. You can't hear it because it's muted, so funny stuff. On one side, you got Mr. Narrator saying that Chikara can do the trick. On the other side, you have AJ Orton saying Chikara's cool, but ROH is going to have to be what does it. And these guys are bringing up, two promotions that can be what brings the wrestling boom. I think a lot of things have to go into creating a wrestling boom, but I think they have the right idea of bringing up another promotion because I believe competition between brands of wrestling really does do the trick. I mean, even in the wrestling boom of the '80s, it wasn't apparent competition, but I mean, it was Flair and the NWA, and it was WWF getting Hogan from AWA and making him the big fucking star, bigger than Flair was becoming, which is bizarre. Flair was big in a different way than Hogan, but I think Hogan comes out as the guy for wrestling, which at some points was not the best thing in the world, but in a lot of cases, yes, he was the guy. And then you had the boom in the late '90s. That was very much apparent that it was WWF versus WCW. I mean, yeah, kind of doing the trick, and they have the right idea. I believe competition is going to play a big part in the wrestling boom when it comes, which TNA should have been doing in '06, but yeah, we all know where TNA ended up. I mean, honestly, like, Samoa Joe could have and should have been the biggest thing. Yes, Wrestling Jesus, if you watch this vid, there are people who like Samoa Joe, who think he's a good wrestler. Yes, he's fat. I mean, come on, he's also Samoan. Not to be stereotypical, but Samoans tend to genetically be larger. If that is offensive, I'm sorry. I probably just said something really stupid. Yes. Joe, the fact that Joe and AJ Styles aren't two of the biggest names in wrestling is a shame. An utter shame. Which basically killed TNA ever being, then or now, a hot promotion to change the wrestling business. And I think a big part of a wrestling boom is a change in wrestling, which ROH and Chikara can bring. We have the Chikara side. I love Chikara. I'm a big ass Chikara fan. I'm a huge fan of how they run the promotion. I mean, ROH produces I think ROH produces higher quality matches and some higher quality shows, but I think the Chikara promotion is really good at being a well-run, well-booked, well-wrestled promotion all around on a rather consistent basis. And plus it just feels fun, which ROH does for the sake of exciting matches, but Chikara just feels fun all around in atmosphere. So yeah, I do really enjoy both promotions. Let's see. Chikara getting a TV deal as being what does the trick. So I want to attack this side of the argument first. I can see Chikara being something on like on G4 TV. If anyone's ever heard of that channel, it is a gaming channel, mainly gaming. It's like a techie, it's a geek channel. It really is. And I think something like Chikara would work perfectly like that. Mr. Narrator's suggestion of it being on AMC or some network, I believe that's what he said, which is weird. And it's hard to look at a main cable channel that I think can harbor something like Chikara other than Cartoon Network, and I think that's overdue. Chikara is family friendly, but if you put it on Cartoon Network, you're just going to stigmatize it way too much. And I think G4 is very appropriate for something like Chikara. Comic book come to life, man. And G4 is always going to E3 and Comic Con, so yeah, they're doing their thing. That's where I would rather see, even though it's not on your basic cable or even the extended cable, basic extended cable, whatever the fuck the package is called. It should go on G4, even if they're either as a television show or them like just airing shows. Even if they were airing like really old, like 05, like 04, even like 04, 05 shows, if they're available, as something to satisfy wrestling fans on G4. So that's my thing there. I think with the Chikara thing, like I said, a wrestling boom usually involves a wrestling change. Chikara, when you're considering Chikara to be what brings the boom, that's considering the fact that Chikara is a very bizarre product compared to WWE and TNA. Very goofy, kind of wacky gimmicks. Again, comic book come to life. While it does have, it's good with competition and storyline wrestling. Much ROH and Chikara both contain the basics, competition wrestling and storyline wrestling. That's kind of almost universal in wrestling in mainstream or independence. But I think Chikara, when you're changing the wrestling business, when you throw in something like Chikara to be what does it, that's almost like what ECW did in the 90s. It just changed it radically from what you were seeing on WWF and WCW television. I think throwing in Chikara is very much the ECW way. A lot of people compare ROH to ECW, but I think in this case Chikara plays a role more similar to what ECW did in the late 90s. Shit, man, I'm getting distracted. It's really humid. I got a fan right on me at the moment. Fuck. And yes, Chikara is very, very different. While I do say their product would be very good for television because they have a lot of storylines and people would want to watch to get, and I believe they can also do a very good job of introducing characters. Why these, the Technicos and the Rudos, kind of getting over, who's on what side. And I think right now, even with like the Bruder Shaft, it would be insane. I can only imagine if I think if the perfect time for Chikara in the past to have gotten a TV deal, I think would have been in late '08, when I think Chikara really started to pick up after I believe it was after 2008 season 7, I believe. I think they were starting to get real hot with their storylines and how they run things, and I think that's when it would have been good to start that up and then have the Bruder Shaft come in, and that would, I think, if Chikara had a TV deal before the Bruder Shaft was implemented in storylines, I think that would have been actually really, that would have been hot for wrestling TV. Despite the fact that it's on G4, it would have been really hot. I mean, it would have been done before WWE did the Nexus angle, or before TNA did the ECW thing. Hell, it would have been done before even Hulk Hogan came into TNA. So yeah, there's that. So I think Chikara does have a good product for TV, and they have a very, very different product that can imply the change that causes a wrestling boom, and the differences in products that does it. However, if of the two ideas, I'm leaning towards more Ring of Honor. As A.J. Orton said, Ring of Honor is closer to the UFC, is closer to being a UFC equivalent wrestling promotion, in that a ton of top guys in the world type matches in your main events and around your world title picture. A lot more vigor in their blood type feuds and their big feuds. I mean, Chikara does really, really good feuds, but not every feud is going to be like Kingston versus Castagnoli, where things get a little testy. ROH is more likely to do that. Look at Steen versus Generico. Look at Kingston versus Hero. Look at Kings of Wrestling versus Briscoes. Briscoes Generico. Generico American Wolves. Things can get real hot. Much like on UFC. When they hype up Ultimate Fighter, it's the two fighters swearing at each other like crazy. Yeah. I think ROH is closer and better with the 18 and over audience to bring them away from UFC and back into wrestling in terms of match quality and maturity. Sorry, heard some ruffling outside. And Chikara, unfortunately, is playing really much into the demographic that WWE is already covering with their PG-oriented product, which is a shame, because I think Chikara does a PG wrestling product much better than WWE. Chikara's borderline G-rated. It's insane, and they're so much better as a wrestling product than WWE. But yeah, those are kind of my 2 cents on the issue. I wish I could come up with more original thought, but I don't know. My computer's been kind of weird, so I want to do this now while before internet goes crazy again. Red Sox kick ass. Okay, maybe not at the moment, but Red Sox Yankees right here and right here. And to my subscribers and those I subscribe to from New York, no, I'm not going to flip you guys off. I'm not going to blame every New Yorker. Just anyone on the Giants, Yankees, even the Mets, the Jets, the Knicks. Why am I picking on the Knicks? I mean, it's bad enough for them. It's bad enough. Yes, I'm almost running out of time. Those are my thoughts. That's what I think about which promotion can do the trick for the wrestling boom. So that's me hitting you with another video. DoubleCrossKing, stay classy.